Learning in the organization. Learning in the organization increase the organization's, the enterprises, and the individual employees' competence, skills, knowledge, possibility of development, as well as the individual employee being able to contribute to and accomplish the work tasks through internal motivation based on their knowledge, competence, and skills. Ideas regarding the organization's learning, competence, and competence development has become an important part of the modern management concept. Knowledge of learning, cooperation, and communication is needed for a work unit to continuously be better and to control production. The idea of a learning organization is to place the individual's learning close to the work activities, work situation, and work tasks. This results in the organization itself being important to the individual's motivation and development. A common definition of a learning organization is that it's both an organization that learns as well as an organization that encourages employees to learn. Learning in the organization has developed from learning for adaptation, where the individual adapts to the organization, to learning for development, where the individual develops themselves and the organization through their learning. It's important to be a learning organization with today's rapid rate of change. In order to cope with the rapid changes of today and the future regarding technology, business models, customer needs, and ways of working, we need to learn new things and develop our competence. The organizational culture needs to be supportive for the employee to dare to take risks, experiment, learn by previous mistakes, and quickly move on. We need to develop a learning organization with a mentality where employees can create and learn together with others, both in their own and other areas, as well as outside their own organization and enterprise. A management that conveys the need of a learning culture that leads the direction through their own behavior and observes initiatives as support for learning. That the organization and roles are designed to give employees independence and resources to manage their own work and experiment. To support independence, experimenting and learning, the employees need to give and receive feedback, not only from managers, but also from co-workers, customers, patients, students, clients, and the network at large. Working with, for example, the organizational culture, the possibility of creativity and promoting new ways of thinking, and the employee's ability to learn. A frequently mentioned factor is the digitalization of learning. Technology can dramatically increase the availability, range, and effectiveness of learning. For example, web-based courses where the employee can take a course and watch lectures and educational material when appropriate regarding work tasks and working hours, increases the availability for all to participate in education and competence development. Not using technology and only relying on one's own experience from work, the closest co-worker's knowledge and the occasional competence development is not enough. At the same time, technology is nothing but an enabler. A culture of learning and development is the foundation for learning in working life. In other words, a learning organization is defined by an organizational culture that promotes learning, supports, and provides adequate resources in changes and realignments. Learning integrated in the work activities and in the daily work with methods for learning, and a management that support managers in making learning an integrated part of work and developing employees' independent learning. Managers that want, are able and allowed to develop the employees' learning processes, enables and develops employees' creativity and ability for independent learning. Employees who want are able and allowed to reflect, question, and learn. Adequate resources, time, technology, and support for learning through coordinated efforts and resources. For example, through expert support, a digital environment for learning, applications, course library, etc. The manager is key to the continuous learning in the organization. It's the managers that convey the culture of learning and that influence employees to want, be able, and allowed to learn. Managers enable employees' independent and ongoing learning and develops the learning organization. The manager is important for feedback on how the work and work tasks are proceeding. In order to develop, we need to make new experiences. It's the manager's task to ensure, through asking, discussing, observing, and finding new challenges, that employees make new experience, develop, and grow in their occupational role. For example, through challenging projects or through switching work tasks with someone else. Furthermore, it's the manager's task to coach employees before, during, and after the implementation of new tasks. The manager should be clear about the expectations and to frequently monitor the project. The manager should coach the approach and habits that are required to becoming a learning employee. The manager themselves need to be strong in their continuous learning and to direct the path for the employees, be supportive, and help the employees find opportunities for learning and further development. The manager influences planning, communication, monitoring, as well as whether discussions take place publicly or behind closed doors. The manager is often the most important person to pursue transparency, cooperation in the work team, as well as the unified competence development through experience, factual knowledge, and the development of silent knowledge for everyone in the work team. The manager influences the employees. By experimenting, daring to take risks and fail, the manager themselves show what constitutes the norm to the employees. One example is being open about failures, but also what one has learned from previous mistakes. Different learning processes are present in the learning organization. Single-loop learning is when the individual creates new strategies based on the available and dominating values and learns to improve the performance of given tasks and not to question. Double-loop learning is when the individual learns to reflect, question, and when needed, change their own and the organization's dominating values. Deutero learning emerges when the organization has learned to perform single-loop as well as double-loop learning, and awarely aims to continuously be a learning organization with adequate environments and processes that are created to cater for this. An organizational culture of learning starts with employees wanting to, being allowed, as well as able to learn. An employee have their own responsibility to plan their own development, understanding what skills are needed, how they develop, different methods to use, and where to find the knowledge. However, in order to do this, the employees need support and feedback. We need to learn by the experience we gain through work, to learn new things through information and the knowledge flow, to learn in encounters with colleagues, managers, customers, clients, patients, students, and other people we meet through work. The knowledge we gain in our leisure time and personal life. To receive adequate resources for learning, time, and support to be able to use methods and techniques when learning. Learning needs to be integrated in the work in order to be the most effective for employees' coherence of factual knowledge, silent knowledge, experience, and development of skills at work, to develop an occupational competence. By integrating learning in the work, activities and tasks, one can learn exactly what's needed in the context of the work task and in small doses that fit the time we have available. In all learning and in the learning organization, reflection is a key concept. Continuously reflect and consider, what did I want to achieve today? How did it go? What did I do well? What do I need to improve? What have I learned? The possibility of active learning and memorizing the knowledge increases through reflection. There are different ways to convey silent knowledge and knowledge of experience between employees in the workplace. In other words, knowledge that is hard to gain through studying a book or website, but rather the kind of knowledge one gains by working many years in an occupation or with the work tasks. One method is case method, which is a pedagogical approach where the participants are faced with realistic problems described in a case that the participants may experience in their workplace. The question posed in a case is based on there not being a correct answer, which means that it's the task of the leader of the discussion in the case to promote the participants' discussion and own thinking in order to come up with different solutions based on their own reflections, experience from working life, and life in general. The case method tries to grasp and convey the silent knowledge to everyone in the work team. The approach is derived from different higher education institutions in the US, for example, Harvard Law School and Harvard Business School. Another approach is the Socratic Method, which lets the train of thought to take new paths based on the notion that dialogue generates wisdom. The dialogue is based on the twisting and turning of an issue in order to see it from different perspectives and to find different solutions. The Socratic dialogue is based on interaction and reciprocity, deals with issues in tangible real-life situations, to the use of everyday language through the employee's own wordings, promoting self-reflection on, for example, the individual's work and events, issues with work tasks, and possible solutions. A third approach is problem-based learning, PBL for short, which is a pedagogic method where learning is based on real-life situations, but where the participants try to gather information on the issue through different sources of knowledge, for example, through books, scientific articles, factual bases of web pages, and thereafter discussing the gathered knowledge within the team. The participants then try to build a collective body of knowledge on different topics that are needed at work, in the workplace, and when executing work tasks. Please take a few moments to consider and reflect on the following questions. Are there possibilities for employees to learn new things in your workplace? Does the competence development of your workplace take into account that the cognitive functions, learning, and memory change as we age? Do all employees have the possibility of participating in new projects, competence development, and education irrespective of their age?